Good afternoon, dear viewers. We are in the garage and getting ready to get started on this. Plan for this video. If everything works out okay, by the end of it, this car should be missing its butt. You know, zap, get rid of all that. Should be cool. So to get started on that, it is now Tuesday. Hoping to get to cutting it by this weekend. So I just want to get some of the, call it preliminary stuff out of the way. Then again, I don't know how much is actually going to be involved in cutting this apart. For all I know, it's going to be a lot more work than I expect, which, you know, would be the norm. There we go. Whew. That. Let's go. There we go. Whew. Disconnected all the wires and got basically the rear suspension disassembled, which never actually taken it apart to this level before, so that's a bit new. But there we go. There's the knuckles. Now plan is going to be to keep these hubs, but all of these all of the arms and stuff that connect them, we're going to be building our own stuff for that as the frame comes together. But I thought it'd be kind of neat to look at BR suspension. So this was the passenger side. This is the one that didn't hit. See, all straight, good to go. As you can see, this one doesn't roll so nice. But yeah, it's actually even worse once you straighten that out. You actually start to see what sort of angle we're dealing with here. Not even sure how it actually managed to get bent that way. Because the funny thing is, you look at the car back here, and yeah, there's, you know, a good bit of mangling there, but this all actually looks pretty good. But given how difficult it was to pull that hub out, it definitely hints at the fact that there's a lot of stuff not quite lined up in there. So that would be why we're cutting off the back of this car. New day, new chance to get some stuff done on the car. So the casters on this little cart I built, despite claiming to be rated for enough weight to handle this car, they are clearly not managing it. The ones in the front are so bent that they actually won't swivel anymore. So got these guys. Yeah, much more beefy. So I would be very surprised if these can't handle the weight. That being said, as I'm saying this, realizing that I'm probably not going to be too happy about welding those other ones on. That's going to mean a lot of grinding. Going to get this thing up in the air, up on some jack stands, get the cart out from under it, and get to putting these guys on. When you're looking at this, you can kind of tell that ain't straight. That has bent out quite badly. And yeah, that's what I mean by these not quite cutting. And although I'm looking at it, it looks like the actual, what do they call these? The racetrack, the bearings in here, that all held up fine. It's actually the plate that it attaches to. Looks like that was too thin. There we go. That is one off, and that's then you can really see the difference between these casters. So these claim that a set of 4 could support 2,800 pounds. These claim that a set of 4 can support 5,000 pounds. And I suppose if they're anywhere close to what they claim, then they'll be more than enough for this car. There we go. Cut out 4 of these guys, because one thing I realized that went wrong with these casters, besides that this top plate for them is just thin as hell to begin with, I think part of it was also the fact that when they were on here, so I can position this, when they were on here, they basically had no weld on this side because they were a little too wide and they hung over the edge. But I figured since normally it would just be those 4 bolts holding them, that welding all the way around 3 sides would be enough. Turned out that wasn't the case. Now, these guys, besides having a much thicker plate also measures bigger, so get it positioned. There you go. So they're going to sit like this, and obviously that right there is no good. We want something supporting this corner. So simple solution to that, cut out these guys, and I'm just going to weld them in right here. Got to shave that corner down a little bit, but they're just going to be welded in place right here so that I can then weld all the way around the caster, make sure it's, you know, as secure as possible and has support all the way around. I think that should be plenty to make sure these don't, you know, suffer the same fate. Just like that, we got the big caster on. And judging by the sound of that, I do think I need to squirt some new grease in there. I imagine some of it might have melted, but that's okay. It's actually a nice thing about these casters versus those other ones. They actually have grease fitting there and one right there, so that'll do. I just gotta do it 4 more times. I think that's just the concrete.
Car's sitting on it.
Yeah. Still love that. It is now Friday. Goal for the day, if we can make it. I never know how these things go. But goal is to get this thing ready to be cut apart tomorrow. So that'll involve getting the seats out, getting the firewall out, disconnecting the last few lines, draining the fluid, and taking off the last few suspension components. But I'm pretty sure after that, it'll be ready for us to start chopping this thing apart. And that will make tomorrow a very exciting day. Maybe a very regretful day. This is, to say the least, we're a little bit nervous because this is big step.
You're nervous.
I'm nervous. You know, our typical thing, just go past the point of no return and then you're forced to finish it. So we're heading straight that way. One thing I'm now realizing is that the supports for my dolly are actually behind the frame rails we intend to cut. I don't think I lined that up quite right. This is that rear suspension setup. This is basically what the control arms bolt into, and it's sort of the bracket that supports everything off of the frame up here, which, if I'm being honest, I don't like that very much as a design, just because here, you're counting on this bit, which is bolted in place to, you know, give you your rigidity. But it makes sense for Porsche because you need to be able to remove that in order to take out the engine, because stock the engines drop out at the bottom of the car. Since we're doing a setup that lets us put the engine in through the top, we're not going to have to worry about having something like that that could be removed. So there will be something that ties the two frames together, and it will be welded in place, and it's probably going to be made out of good stuff like this. But I mean, we are basically ready to rock on this thing. I'm going to call it a day early today, get nice and rested, and tomorrow will be some great hacking. The big day is here. We are officially going past the point of no return, and as you can see outside, it's wonderful, ominous weather for surgery. I'm a bit soaked right now because I may have accidentally broken the window the other day, and had to tape that up real quick. Anyways, today we are cutting this apart. So we're thinking for now it's going to be, we're cutting right along this seam to the bottom and then over. And then on the inside, going to cut down and then follow the frame rail all the way back around, get this whole thing off in one big piece. At least that's the plan. What have we done? That's it. There it is. Our Porsche. Alrighty guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. We're going to be still shaving that back a little, get a nice flat plane, because we're going to end up welding a big plate on either side, and that'll serve as one of our attachment points. But for now, there's the car. There's all things that were part of the car that are never going on again. If you like the direction this build is going, not that we have a whole lot of direction yet, like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. This thing's going to be awesome by the time it's done.